When you're planning a Walt Disney World vacation, you may have gone through the website before and you said to yourself, oh, this looks really good. Then you go to Walt Disney World, you come back home and you realize you spent a lot more money than you thought you were going to spend. Today, I'm going to give you my tips and tricks to make sure that you cut as many of those costs as possible to make it a less expensive Disney vacation. Tip number 1, go during the off-season times. You've heard me say it before. If you go during Christmas, it's going to be more expensive than if you go basically any other time of year. Off-season basically means any time that school is in session. If you go during that time frame, it's likely going to be less expensive. Good rule of thumb. Tip number 2, try the value resorts. I know that there are friends in our community who have said the value resorts aren't the same level of Disney, but I gotta tell you, Pop Century and Art of Animation to me are that same level of Disney, and you save a lot of money by staying there. I feel like it's a great way to experience a magical Disney vacation and really save some money. The next tip, if you're going for maybe one big trip, make it as long as possible, because if you go for a longer trip less frequently, you'll definitely save a lot of money. Not only will you save on the room and the ticket and all the other expenses, but you'll save on the actual transportation to and from Walt Disney World. Wherever home is for you, flying, driving, whatever it is, less expensive because you're not going as frequently. So I would recommend staying for as long as possible while you're here. Now, another tip that I've tried before about tickets, if you're buying tickets for a specific number of days, let's pretend for a moment you're there for 7 days, and you look at the ticket prices, and if you shave 2 days off the 7 in the parks, you can save an astronomical amount of money for you and your family. Is it worth it? In my opinion, it is. I recommend you shave off those 2 days, save the money, and go experience the resorts. Go experience Disney Springs. Maybe you want to experience the water parks as well, but you can save a lot of money if you take 1 or 2 days off the ticket for many members of your family. Do the math, think about it for you. What do you want to experience? But yeah, that's one that I can definitely recommend. The resorts have so much to offer. Disney Springs is fantastic. There's so much to experience. Next up, if you're trying to save money on a Disney vacation, forget about park hopping. Park hopping is when you go from one park to the other in the same day. It's a park hopper ticket. It requires an extra expense. Cut that out. Just get a base ticket so you can go to one park at a time and do as much as possible in that one park on that one day. Then go to another park on another day. That park hopper option is going to save you some money. Another great tip, buy as much merchandise as you are comfortable with in advance of your trip. And some parents have actually found it's nice to buy the merchandise, keep it a secret, and then when you're in the parks, just kind of be like, oh look, I got this for you. And you didn't necessarily get it from the park, you got it online, but that can save a tremendous amount. Now that being said, there are some items you're going to want to get in the park, so just getting as much as you can in advance is going to help. So whether it's a shirt or a hat or an autograph book, whatever it is, get those things in advance, and then the things that are specific to the parks you can get there, so you don't have to spend that extra money on things you could have gotten earlier. Next up, if you like wearing Mickey or Minnie ears around the park, consider getting those in advance as well. There are some park specific ones that are fantastic. Maybe you want to get one of those, but if you want ears for maybe the whole family and other family members don't mind if they were purchased online, there are a lot of great friends who sell different ears online, whether they made it themselves or maybe from the Disney store online that have them at a discount. There are a lot of different options for Mickey and Minnie ears. You do not have to only get them in the park. Another big one that I have forgotten more times than I care to admit, bring your own poncho or rain gear. You are going to need it more than likely, and just having it in your backpack, maybe you never use it, that would be the best scenario, but let's pretend for a moment you will have to use it. You probably will. You definitely want to have it because it is expensive to buy ponchos and rain gear when you're here. Just get that in advance. It's going to help a lot. Another great tip for saving money at Walt Disney World is reducing the amount of food that you purchase in and around the parks. And the way you can do that, the way that I like to do that, is to bring some snacks with you, whether it's a protein bar or other snack that you bring from home, from the resort, wherever it is. It's going to help reduce the costs quite a bit, because one thing I'll do is I'll go to the parks and I'll say, okay, I'm not going to buy any merchandise, I'm going to be good. But then I end up going and I'm getting food, and that ends up being some money, and you know, you get to that point where it's like, okay, I got to balance these things out. Saving money on food at Walt Disney World is a great strategy. Of course, you're going to want to eat around the parks, no doubt about it, but reducing as much as possible is really going to help. Now, you know how much I love PhotoPass photographers, Memory Maker, and all the pictures that Disney photographers take. And I believe this is one of those items that really is worth it. This is the last item I would probably cut on the list, but if you do want to save some money, you can opt out of the Memory Maker and the PhotoPass PhotoPass pictures. The PhotoPass photographers who are standing in the parks can take a picture with your cell phone or camera, no problem. So you can do that. It does save you some money, but I wouldn't recommend it. I love Memory Maker and PhotoPass photographers. That is one I would splurge for. Next up, if you're staying at a Disney resort or even planning on visiting the resorts frequently, I recommend looking at the value of the resort refillable mugs. These mugs cost $20 and the aluminum ones cost $30, but I can tell you I've gotten a lot of use out of these mugs even if I am not staying at a resort. I just visit them so frequently. But it comes down to you. Do you like a coffee every single morning, or you like several sodas throughout the day, or you're going to be at many of the resorts throughout your adventure? If that's the case, I'd look into it. I really feel like it's worth it. If you're looking for more details about the resort refillable mug, I do have a video all about it. You can find it right there. They're super helpful. They are, again, a great souvenir at the end of the adventure. You bring it home with you. Why not? Now, if you love popcorn, can't get enough of that popcorn flavor, just want to walk around the parks all day eating popcorn and supplement meals with popcorn, not full meals, just, snacking on popcorn throughout the day, I would consider also looking at the value of the popcorn bucket. To refill the popcorn bucket, I think it's only $2, I think so, $2.99 or $2 for the popcorn refill, and you end up making your money back, I think, if you refill it 3 times. I have to remember that, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 times on the average costing popcorn bucket, and they have special ones always available, which can make it worth it. But again, it depends on your family. Do you love eating popcorn throughout the day and sharing it as a family, just as an example? Then it can be worth it. Otherwise, maybe not. Next up, if you have young kids with you, I recommend bringing your own stroller. The stroller rentals at Walt Disney World are a little bit on the expensive side, and you can rent them off-site, no doubt about it. But just bringing your own, I feel like, is going to save a lot of money. Of course, this is based on each family. It depends on you. Do you have one? Do you have one that meets the size requirement of Walt Disney World? That's an important one. Can't be too big of a stroller. But if you can bring your own, you're going to save a lot of money on the rentals. Now, if you're staying on Disney property, one idea that I have to reduce expenses would be to stay on Disney property. What do I mean by that? I'm saying that if you're on Disney property and you're thinking about wanting to go out and get some food for a fridge, for example, you want to do some grocery shopping in the area and stock your fridge full of those snacks that I mentioned earlier to kind of reduce the meals that you need throughout the day in the parks around the resorts, you don't have to actually go off property in an Uber there and shop and Uber back or cab back, whatever it is. You can just virtually shop for groceries and it can be delivered to your resort and even your resort room in some cases. And there are a lot of services that offer this, convenience now. You can do it. You can absolutely do it, and it saves you money. So you can do the shopping, have it done virtually. It's delivered to you for a little extra fee, but that fee will definitely be made up instead of the taxi or Uber to and from the grocery store. Last but not least, take advantage of all of the free things that you want at Walt Disney World. Whether it's a magnet or a drawing class, whatever it is, go for those free things. It's going to help a lot. If you're looking for more free things, you can find it right there at that video. It's going to be really helpful. Those are my tips to help you cut some costs on your Walt Disney World vacation. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips or which one was the most helpful to you. I'd love to hear in the comments below. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me today. Until next time, have a magical day.